Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 597.
I'm gonna live the rich life, the best life. So if y'all know what I mean, put your hands up and declare with me. Yeah, I'm full of faith. I'm gonna live the good life, beautiful and glorious life.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about being underinvested, because what I'm seeing is that people are working really hard to save money. You're putting it away in your 401k, you're putting it away in your savings accounts, you're doing a lot of things to save money. So the problem isn't that you haven't saved enough, which is what's widely reported out there. I think the real problem is people are underinvested, meaning you're not getting your money working hard enough for you. Here's what I mean by that. Let's say that you're putting money into your 401k every month, and maybe your employer is matching, maybe they're not. It doesn't really matter. It's nice if they do, and hopefully if they are, you are putting in 100% enough to get the match. But if they're matching, if they're not, it's still a great way for you to save for retirement, to not be taxed on that money that you've earned, and to have it grow without income taxes as well. But here's the thing. What happens once it's in the 401k? Did you just leave it in cash? If you've left it in cash, you're definitely underinvested. You're definitely doing yourself a disservice by not getting your money to work hard for you. What about if you put it into a target date fund? Well, I explained on a recent episode why you're underinvested if you're in a target date fund, because of the way they do the asset allocation, the way that they decide what investments your money goes into, and the extra layer of fees that they're charging you that are going to take tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your account over your lifetime. So it might be that you're not invested in your 401k, or your asset allocation isn't really going to compound at the highest possible rate for you, which we know in the 6 Steps to Wealth is one of the steps to wealth building and ultimately financial freedom. So being underinvested is a massive problem because people aren't paying attention to how their money is actually allocated in their investments. And that means that you're not getting the maximum that you could get at retirement. You know, if you didn't save any more money, but you invested wisely, you'd have potentially thousands or tens of thousands or maybe even hundreds of thousands more dollars in your retirement plan. And maybe it's that you're not familiar with investing. Nobody really taught you. You thought stock investing was for other people, or it wasn't done in your family, or you're just not familiar or comfortable with it, or you feel kind of unsure what to do. Well, I get that, but it's learnable. So you want to listen to my podcasts about how to do your asset allocation because it is learnable. Now, maybe it's that you're not comfortable with fluctuation in the market. Maybe you're trying to play it a little safe because you just don't like these big pullbacks, or worse, maybe you panicked at the bottom of a major pullback, and so you don't feel comfortable going back into the market, and so you're underinvested. Well, here are some examples from my book, You're Already a Wealth Heiress, Now Think and Act Like One, 6 Practical Steps to Make It a Reality Now. This came from page 40, where I talk about risk and how you can take calculated risk, how you can diversify your portfolio to reduce risk. There's a lot of strategies to help you get through the fear or the not really being comfortable part of investing. And here's why it's so important that you get this right. Here's the example that I gave on page 40. I talk about Sarah and Jessica. Sarah had $50,000 that she just stashed in a bank account at 1%. She left it there for 15 years. And over 15 years, her account only increased about $8,000 to $58,048. Jessica, on the other hand, was a wealth building maximizer. She knew how to get her money working hard for her. And her $50,000 she invested in the stock market, which over that 15 years averaged 10%. And her $50,000 over 15 years grew to $208,862, an increase of over $150,000 more than Sarah. Do you see how with the same dollar amount, but with Sarah being underinvested by being in a savings account at 1%, she definitely wasn't getting her money working harder for her. And if only she had made some different investment choices, she could have had $150,000 more potentially in her account. But it gets worse because I've talked about the wealth building formula is MCT, money, compounding, and time. What if you had longer than 15 years? What if you had 30 years? And what if you were starting out with more money than $50,000? What if you had $200,000 you were starting with, didn't invest another penny, but invested for 30 years? Well, if Sarah did the same thing, put her money in a savings account at 1%, over 30 years, her $200,000 would grow to $269,569. But Jessica, who was our star investor, not a star because she did anything out of the ordinary, but a star because she was comfortable with taking calculated risk, was comfortable with investing in asset allocation, had her money in growth-oriented vehicles that could average 10% over 30 years, her $200,000 grew to $3.4 million. So here's the thing. Two people had the same amount of money, the same amount of time, but the difference was the compounding rate. 1% versus 10%. At 1%, $269,000. At 10%, $3.4 million. A difference of $3.2 million. This is what I'm talking about. If you're underinvested and you're not getting your money working hard enough for you, literally the problem isn't going to be until 15, 30 years down the road when you don't have enough in your retirement plan, or you don't have enough to retire, or you run out of money, God forbid, because you were underinvested. Now, can I guarantee the stock market will do 10% for 30 years and that will be the performance? I can't. So let me read you what I wrote about that in my book. If you are content to leave money in a savings account at 1% interest, it will take you 72 years to double your money. You're not going to reach your retirement goals that way. You have got to invest in something that will give you the potential for higher return. Calculated risk means you know the potential risks involved, but it is worth doing anyway because the rewards are so great. You are not gambling. You are not leaving things to chance. You are putting the odds in your favor because that is what the stock market with an 80-year-long track record of about 10% teaches you. Is it possible that track record would not repeat itself? Yes, it is possible. But considering the additional profit potential, I think you have to agree it is worth the risk. So there you have it. I think the real problem for retirement isn't that you're not doing a good job saving, it's that you're under investing. Fortunately, as I said, it's easy to fix because you can learn how to do asset allocation and how to position your portfolio for growth. It's up to you to be conscious about what you're invested in. It's up to you to take the time to learn. And fortunately, it's free and it's right on this podcast. All you have to do is look up any of my podcasts about asset allocation. And you can do that right on my website. Go to lindapjones.com/podcasts. You'll have the whole library of podcasts there. In the upper right-hand corner is the search box. You can put in asset allocation, and my podcasts addressing asset allocation and how to create the right asset allocation model for you will pop up there. And if you haven't subscribed to Be Wealthy and Smart, hit the subscribe button and you'll be updated as soon as new podcasts are available. And if you're really serious about learning how to invest, consider my VIP experience. It's my inner investing circle. If you're interested in learning more, just fill out the short questionnaire in the show notes and I'll set up a convenient time for us to talk and see if it's a good fit for both of us. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.